Alright, what's going on YouTube? Miguel here, and sitting right behind me is my 1998 Mustang GT. So it feels like I bought this car about forever ago. I paid $1,000 for it and it was going to be my project car. The original project, it was going pretty good up until it wasn't. See, this car left me stranded one too many times on the side of the road. I kind of just gave up on it. Fast forward several years later, we're back. We're actually going to put it back together this time. We're going to do it right. And I figured, why not make a YouTube series out of it? So before we get into what my plans are for this car and what's already on the car, let's roll the intro. Alright, so let me give you guys a little bit of background on this car. Like I said, I bought it for $1,000. This used to belong to my uncle. He broke it, parked it, forgot about it up until I came along and bought it off of him. Before I bought this car, I was driving a 1990 Chevy, and don't get me wrong, it was a nice truck, but I prefer cars. So at the time, I was actually looking for a new Edge Mustang, which is just, slightly newer than this one. I wasn't having that much luck finding one. I had a friend at the time who was selling his black new Edge, except he sold it to his brother before I could even get a chance to look at it. Turned around and bought this car from my uncle. Like I said, the original project was going pretty good. When I bought the car, I literally had to replace everything. One of the first things I had to do was actually, get the car to start. We swapped out the transmission because, like I said, my uncle broke it. It didn't go in reverse. And then we also had to paint it because the paint was basically just completely peeled off of it. I gave up on this car because, like I said, it left me stranded on the side of the road one too many times. It's actually on its second engine at the moment. I was just spending way too much money on this car, and even then it spent more time at a mechanic shop than actually, on the road driving it. One day I told myself, I'm not driving this car anymore, so I started working towards buying my 2016 Mustang GT. More on that car later. I've had my 2016 for a couple years now, but I have a soft spot for this car. Here's the thing, this was my very first car that I ever owned that belonged to me, name on the title and everything. I thought about sending it to a junkyard, I thought about selling it, and I couldn't do it, honestly. I want to keep this car for as long as possible, and if I want to do that, I needed to put it back together. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing with this series. Alright, so enough about the history of the car. Let's actually talk about what needs to be done to it and what's already done. Alright, so like I said, this is my 1998 Mustang GT, and for the most part, it's completely stock. Alright, we're going to start from the front and then work our way to the back. Alright, starting from the front, like I said, this car was completely peeling when I first bought it and needed a new paint job. So it did get repainted, but it's still its original silver color. The only thing that's different now is, for some reason, we added racing stripes. Now these were supposed to be black. They didn't really come out like that. As you can see, it's a little a dark red, like a maroonish color. We're gonna be getting rid of that. Don't worry, I hate them. You guys probably hate them. We're gonna get rid of those. Another thing I hated was the original lights on these. So we ended up buying some, I think, Raxium halo lights. Those are actually also gonna be replaced. Moving on to the side, I do have some aftermarket wheels. These are actually only about 3-4 months old. So like I said, I gave up on this car. I parked it for years, so the tires were no good on these. These are the wheel and tire setup that I originally wanted when I bought this car, and now I finally have it. I don't have a video of me installing these, but here they are. They look dope. I love them. I know they're basic FR 500 wheels, but they're dope. Moving over to the side, there's nothing really of note. When I first got the car, I thought it'd be dope to throw on a fake carbon fiber wrap on there. I'm gonna get rid of that too. Instead of being wrapped in carbon fiber, I might just do a gloss black. The thing with this car, I'm going for a silver, black, and kind of chrome color scheme with it. Alright, moving over to the back. Again, it's pretty much all stock. When I first got the car, it had some disgusting Euro taillights. One of the first things I changed out was the taillights. To me, a Mustang kind of has to have the iconic 3-bar taillight look. That's just a must. I went ahead and got those, and they're a little bit tinted. It breaks up the silver, and like I said, silver and black color scheme, that's what we're going for. Alright, so moving on to the bumper itself. All SM95 Mustangs, as well as the new Edges, have either Mustang, Mustang GT, or Cobra on the bumper, depending on what trim you got. It doesn't actually have the black inserts like mine does. Those are, again, it's kind of a little wrap. I don't know how well this is going to show up on camera, but that's also carbon fiber. We're going to be getting rid of that too. to, again, we might just go gloss black. I did that because it stands out a little bit better. Again, it breaks up the silver and it works with the color scheme. All right, moving on to the interior. It's a basic base model 98 Mustang interior. There's nothing really too special about it. One of the biggest issues is, you know, the seats themselves. This car is about 24 years old, so obviously those are going to be a little bit beat up. Passenger side, not so much, and the back is actually in decent shape. There are a couple holes back there. I do plan on reupholstering like all the seats. Might even put, you know, some racing seats if we ever get to that point. Other than that, in the interior, like I said, it's a pretty basic Ford interior. A whole lot of plastic. I did change out the radio, give it something a little bit more modern, and I do have subs in the trunk. As far as plans go for the interior, I hate this gray look. It all blends in together, and if it's all gonna blend in together, I'm gonna have it blend in together, but it's gonna be like a complete black interior. The transmission has already been swapped in here, and at the time I didn't really know how to drive a manual, and I didn't learn how to drive a manual up until I got my 2016 GT. We have I want to say a 5-speed auto. It could be a 4-speed. It is an auto, who knows, maybe there's a manual swap somewhere out there in the future. All right, so moving over to the engine bay, like I said, this car is completely stock. Other than my cold air intake, that's probably one of the first mods I ever did to this car. And then, you know, we got some blue spark plug wires, but I'm not going to touch too much on that because I do have a video on that coming out real soon. While we're on the subject of the engine, let's talk about the exhaust system on this thing. So while I was back here, you guys might have noticed this car does have a Flowmaster exhaust with some custom tips on there. I would give you guys a cold startup, but this car doesn't actually start right now. This car is a work in progress, so we're going to fix that. Trust me, trust the process, I got this. Besides the paint peeling, the interior being absolutely disgusting and basic, this car also had a couple other issues, but by the time I'm filming this video, I've already started on the project. So my goal with this project, I need a daily for the daily, and this is what this thing is gonna be. Like I said, I have a soft spot for this car. I wanna keep this car for as long as possible, and I wanna do it right this time. You know, back then, I was young, I didn't really know what I was doing. Part of the reason why the car blew up, I know a lot of you guys are probably looking at this car, you guys just see a piece of junk. I see this car, I see potential. I really do think this car can be something special. I have a pretty extensive mod list of what I wanna do with this car. I'm not gonna give away too much, but one of the things I wanna do, I wanna put a 5.0 in this. If you had told me a couple years ago I would have a 2016 Mustang GT, I probably would have laughed at you. I'm speaking it into existence right now. This car one day is going to have a 5-liter Coyote engine in it. With that being said, drop a like. I heard it helps with the YouTube algorithm. Comment down below what you guys think I should do to this car, how you would do this car if it belonged to you, and then most importantly, subscribe. I'm in it for the long haul, you know, just trust the process. By the time I'm done, this thing is gonna look amazing. So with that being said, I'm out.